Morning everyone, and thank you for listening to our presentation this morning. My name's Stuart.
And I'm Paul.
And together we're the Senior Management of Pedigree Painting.
Pedigree Painting is Vancouver's Lower Mainland's #1 painting company that specialise in interior and exterior painting. We also do wallpaper, graphics and drywall repair.
So one of the biggest complaints we get before even starting a project is the accountability and organisation of a painting company. Before a project even begins, when we arrive on site we have all of our equipment clearly labelled within boxes so that it creates efficiency and organisation, which speeds up the process when guys are coming to and from the van to collect materials. So now you've been introduced to me and Paul, you've seen the back of our van, let's go upstairs and show you our storage and some of the materials that we use on a daily basis. Now we're upstairs in the Pedigree Painting storage area, and I want to show you 3 key things that we use on a day-to-day basis that separate us from our competition. The first being frog tape. It might look like a regular masking tape, but it has technologies that make the edges swell as soon as moisture hits it, which means the paint can't seep underneath, causing us cleaning issues once we remove the tape. The second item would be a purdy brush. Most people go to Home Depot at the weekend and spend $2 or $3 on a brush. Professionals spend $30 on a brush because it makes our lives really easy to create straight lines. And the third and final thing that I would say that separates us from our day-to-day competition would be Dynaflex 230. This is an elastomeric caulking which expands and subtracts 50 times its size so it moves with the building, preventing cracks and increases the longevity of your home. So now we're showing you the stuff stored on the shelves, let's take you to our job site to show you it in action. So here we are at one of our current projects for Hickey Construction, where we're doing a full renovation, top to bottom painting. I'm going to take you through and show you why it's important to us to take care of your referrals and give them the best possible finish and quality that money can buy. So as you'll see coming through here, we do full surface protection, floor protection. We want to protect those floors. We don't want to be moving drop sheets around throughout the project because paint can get on the floors that way. You'll also see down on the baseboards here, what we use is we use a car bondo. Why we use that is because there's no shrinkage in it. Over time, filler will always shrink as it heats up and dries out. We want to make sure that no nail holes reappear. So by using this, it's a 2-part epoxy which has a strong bond, which has a 0 shrink. I'd like to show you how we paint doors. We paint them in this zigzag formation with screws on the top. This allows us to take all the hardware off and allows us to spray a nice even finish. So now we're going to move on upstairs to some completed areas. As you can see up here, we're starting to get to the finishing stages. Once the ceilings are painted and the trim and the baseboards, the doors and casings are all painted, what we want to do is we want to use that frog tape that I showed you earlier, which swells when moisture hits it, to tape and protect all of this freshly painted baseboard and trim. This ensures straight lines. So we do have the luxury of showing you around a home that's currently under renovation. So there's no homeowners and it's not occupied. But that isn't always the case. We do a lot of residential repaints and it's so important to us that we can create a safe environment for the homeowner to continue to live in. One of the ways we do this is by doing 3 cleanups each day for 5 minutes, which creates a lovely, clean, and what we call a house. It's basically a storage area for us to store our stuff away neatly, just as we showed you earlier in advance. Whilst we're here, I'm going to show you a couple of products that we like to use. When painting trim, we've all been there before where we're using the vacuum or we're kicking off our shoes after a long day and we kick them against the baseboards and all of a sudden we see black marks in the baseboards. By using a product like Scuff Tough, we are eliminating that possibility. We're maximising the durability of the surface that we're painting. So the guys are actually moving on to do something else that I would like to show you whilst we're here. Earlier when we were walking up the stairs, we saw our supervisor spot sanding patches. Once that's done, we go one level further and we make sure that we resand all of the walls to ensure nothing's left underneath our paint. Whilst we're doing that, we also have someone helping clean up all the leftover dust. Unfortunately today we've been unable to show you any of the painting process with our guys due to the current stage we're at in our process. But what I'm going to do for all you DIYers is give you some tips and techniques on how to use a brush and how to cut in neatly. So what I do, I take my brush, I have lots of excess paint there which will make my brush slide, and I just slowly work it into the corner. This ceiling isn't finished, but let's pretend it was finished. Now the thing with the common house today is we like to use a lot of pot lights, which will often result in brush marks. You can see all of the brush marks because people put the brush on, they paint on with the brush, then they go roll it out, and you see brush marks up here and a really heavy roller mark here. So what we do is we take a roller with not very much paint on it, and we use that to roll out the brush marks. So now you've seen the company, you've seen how we prepare things, you see how we like to do things. I've given you some painting tips, but if you do have any other questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. I would love to answer them. Thank you very much for listening and have a great day.